Now, Llandudno is a popular seaside town on the North Wales coast, easily accessible by train and by car. Just to the north of the town is a limestone headland which is called the Great Orme. Now, there are a lot of theories as to where this headland got its name from, one of which is that it's an Old Norse name for sea serpent. Now, running up the side of the Great Orme is the Great Orme Tramway, which starts at Victoria Station in Llandudno town centre and then winds its way up the side of the headland to a halfway point where you have to change trams. It then continues on up the side of the headland to just below the summit, and it's this tramway that we'll be catching today. So the Great Orme Tramway actually began construction in 1901 and opened in two stages. The lower section opened on the 31st of July 1902 and the upper section followed on the 8th of July 1903. Now the tramway actually goes up a very steep grade. The lower section actually has a grade as steep as 1 in 3.8 or 26%. The upper one is slightly less, has a maximum gradient of 1 in 10, which is 10%. Now on our journey up today we had a rather impromptu band join us. Now the Great Orme Tramway is one of only a few remaining cable operated street tramways in the world. One of the more famous ones people will probably know of is the San Francisco cable car, and it runs in a very similar way. It has a cable where the cars are fixed to, and those cables pull the cars along. Now in San Francisco the cars actually attach and detach from these cables, whereas on the Great Orme Tramway they are permanently connected to it. This type of tram is called a funicular. Now we're just approaching the halfway station where we've actually got to change trams. Now the halfway station has all the machinery that controls the trams both in the upper and the lower sections, and we'll take a more detailed look at that later in this video. Now, if you don't take a break at the halfway station, the total journey time from Llandudno up to the summit is about 20 minutes. Now the views on this stretch of the line are incredible. It's also incredibly cold, as you can probably see, so if you do decide to come up on the Great Orme, do wrap up warm even in summer. It's an extremely exposed headland and the wind is very, very windy up there. But you do get some spectacular views across the bay, which again we'll show you in a little while. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to let you enjoy this part of the trip. Now here you can actually see the cable running between the rails. This is what the tram is actually attached to. Now there are two trams on the top section and two trams on the lower. There are 4 trams in total still in service, numbers 4 through 7, all of which were built in 1902. Now, the cable car isn't the only way up the Great Orme. As you can see, you can actually drive up to the top, up to the summit. There is also a cable car, which runs now and again. It wasn't running on the day that we were there. It was too windy for it to run. But never mind. Now, as you can see, we're just approaching the summit station now. The big white building in the background is actually, or the building behind it I should say, is actually a restaurant called the Captain's Table. Word of warning, we didn't realise this when we came up, it only opens for lunches at 12 o'clock, so if you come up earlier than that you can only get snacks. Now, as you probably already noticed, we brought our dog Teddy up with us. Dogs are welcome on the tram, and they're also welcome up in the Captain's Table restaurant as well. It's a nominal fee to take the dog on the tram. It's about £2 if I remember correctly. If it's an assistance dog, dogs will go free. But just as an aside, something I did mention earlier on, you can't take wheelchairs or assistance vehicles or prams on the tram. There just isn't the space for it, I'm afraid. So just bear that in mind if you're coming up to visit. Yes. You want to see the view, or do you want to go and get taken away? So the views at the top of the Great Orme are absolutely spectacular, and on really good weather days you can see all the way across to Eryri. I do hope I've pronounced that correctly. For those who don't know, that is the name now given to Snowdonia. Now in the other direction, on a good weather day, you can actually see all the way out to Blackpool, and you can actually see Blackpool Tower. It's not water, it's coffee.
Sorry that you got coffee on there and stuff like that.
Now I'm not going to narrate over the journey down. I'll just let the music and the views speak for themselves. So as you walk between the trams at the halfway station, you'll be able to glimpse the machinery that runs the whole line. You can take a break here, you don't have to get the tram that's waiting for you, and just take it in and get the next tram that comes along. On the day we were there, it was freezing cold, so we decided just to walk through and get the tram straight back to Llandudno. But yeah, it's well worth having a look. There are other things to see at the halfway point as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video guide to the Great Orme Tramway. It's well worth a visit if you're in the neck of the woods of North Wales. Do wrap up warm though, as I've just said, and we'll see you on the next one.